They were not. The Flintstones were nominated 50 years ago for an Emmy.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
And Family Guy's the only other cartoon to ever get that.
So you were on the first one.
You know, I don't know. I don't know if I'm on the very first one, but I know I'm in the first whole. You know.
What was the first one?
I don't have a clue.
Wow.
I've done so many of them.
It's probably in 1998.
Yeah, I think 98, 99.
Wow. And when did it come off the air? What year?
I don't remember, but I think whatever year it went on, it came off. I think that same year. I think it was only on for a year or a season.
Wow.
And then it came back like a year later. They put it back on.
All right. Well, what else is new with you? Okay, did we talk MTV years? Let's talk MTV years, and I'm going to let you take the lead here. What would you like to talk about?
Well, actually, I just wrapped up a motion picture project. I did a film called Mind of Its Own, where it's about this college kid. He's a wacky college kid, and he's got issues. He's got a talking penis, and he wakes up one morning and doesn't realize there's somebody, and he thinks there's somebody in the room, but it's really his penis. And it's this whole story how he argues and has ups and downs and relationships with his penis. Once he finds out, he almost has a heart attack. But then, it's a funny story. I do the voice Rocco, so I do Rocco, the voice of the penis. That's the role I do through the movie. And the director's a huge fan of mine, Jace Cobalati. So he wanted me in the movie somehow, some way. So he said, Johnny, I gotta have you in it. So I did a cameo as this crazy kid's boss. My name is Mr. Hamby, and I have to fire this kid because he's nuts. Because I don't want him in my building and in my operation because I'm his boss, and I think he's out of his freaking mind. And so I have to let him go. So that's the scene I have, and it's actually a very funny scene. It's the first time I do my gay character on screen.
Who plays the penis?
I do the voice of the penis.
I got confused.
Yep, I do the voice of the penis through the whole movie, but I make a cameo as his boss who has to fire him.
Do Rocco.
Rocco's based on New York Frank Rizzo. That's it, Johnny. It's just a real tough guy, just like take no crap, Frank Rizzo type voice.
Does he speak with his penis, or is he just hounded and tormented? And
he's tormented and he fights.
Did they actually become friends?
Yes, they become friends, and by the end, Rocco has to go, and you see how it's actually quite funny that
Rocco has to go.
Yeah, he's got no pun again intended. No, but Rocco's got to split the scene, and he's like got to leave Johnny on his own now, and so it's kind of funny how the relationship developed into that.
Hold it, wait a minute. He's got to split the scene. What happened to Rocco? He can't be physically leaving. In other words, he's
right. It's more of a mental thing, right? And he's telling Johnny that, hey, Johnny, you got to be on your own now, man. You always had the ability. So it's more like it was but it's funny how the relationship is there through the movie. It works out well.
How did he become Rocco?
I guess that's what the director was looking for. Just a tough, a real tough kind of like a New York sound and style kind of voice for this particular movie.
I was watching a Family Guy last night. Since we're speaking of penises, I guess you can. Dr. Ruth did it, years ago, so we can do it now. Talking about Peter O'Toole, and Peter makes the point that Peter O'Toole's both names are nicknames for.
That's right.
For penis.
That's right.
I hope we're getting away with all this on VAJN.
That's pretty funny.
And on audiobookradio.net. So, Rocco, this is the first penis you've played?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're looking for more penis work at this point?
Yeah, it's
and how many times could you say penis in a 5-minute period?
Right. What's funny, too, is Sal Rosenberg, years ago I had a skit where Sal Rosenberg would knit little clothes, and he'd make little things because he believed his penis also, could speak to him, and he always wondered why does his penis, because Sal Rosenberg's penis had teeth, and it was nasty, and it would always bite at him like as if it was some sort of rat that was in his pants. And so it was a much more different thing than what we did here in this movie, and I told the director too, I said it was very funny. When he came forward with that idea, I told him it was very funny that you had that idea, because I did a skit with Sal years ago that he was crazy because he would always argue with his penis, and the penis would literally bite him, and he didn't understand why, because he would take the time out to make all nice little clothing and vests and little cowboy hats, and he couldn't understand why his penis was so mean to him. And because that's what Sal with the phobias, that was Sal's big thing. Sal he always had some sort of phobia going on, That was the famous thing with Sal Rosenberg.
Wow, okay.
I can't, Sal was always like, oh, I can't see, damn it. And his shadow. it's my shadow when he was talking to a psychiatrist. It's always there. It's always after me. Damn it. And the psychiatrist, that's a great call. The psychiatrist is trying to say, well, you have to work through this. You've got to blah, blah, blah. And it just goes on and on. But it's the same thing. Sal's always got all these crazy phobias that are attacking him.
Right. What else? Okay, now have we left Penis? Do we have Penis back in its place again, or can we move on?
Oh, absolutely.
What else? Let's. I'm going to let you take the lead. This is great. Go ahead.
No,
what else?
Just covering the bases here.
Okay. We rounding second. What do you got for us? What's in the future?
Well, you know what? The future's wide open as far as I can see. The fame of these characters and how wonderful and how people they're so endearing, and people really get a kick. You know what it is too in today's times? People, they gotta have a laugh. People want to laugh. They need something to make them laugh, and it just a little lighthearted, little laugh, and it's a good thing, And that's pretty much what I'm all about, People, they go to my website, they'll order. Let's say, just a good example about laughter. They'll order a birthday greeting. I'll do birthday greetings for people in whatever character they like. They can choose the character. They go to the jerkyboys.com and they say, "Oh man, this is great. My brother's birthday's coming up." And why? Why do they do that? Because it makes them laugh. And they'll always give me this long email telling me that they're so happy that they can do this, that they could have this, that I would do this for them, because they grew up listening to the Jerky Boys. They're huge fans, and to be able to have these characters that I do personal greetings for them or their family members blows them away.
How did that come about? I mean, are you sending them? How do they wind up getting your? And give some information on it. The other folks may want to do that. How do they wind up getting you to do the greeting? How does that set up? What do you do there? Well, is that a Twitter kind of thing?
No, this is not Twitter. This is this is right off thejerkyboys.com. They can go there, and a lot of time when they get to thejerkyboys.com, they're just browsing through. They're just looking at different things, and they're looking at different, this, that, and the other thing, and they just, they can select it, and if they want to choose that, I get a lot of women getting it for their husbands. I just did one for a woman who's her best friend is this guy who's just a huge fan, and she's a huge fan, so she went and bought one for her good buddy. And again, they all write in the letter the same thing, that it's so awesome that they're now going to have a personal, like from Frank Rizzo, they'll have a personal greeting. Like they'll type me out in the script. They'll write a little bit of stuff that is only pertinent to those two people. Right. So when Frank Rizzo starts barking stuff back at them, that's all information that's really privy to them. It's kind of cool because it's such a personalized deal to get Frank Rizzo. It's, you know what it is? I call them on the website, I call them roasts. They're just like a roast.
Right.
So, and that's, and so if it's from Sal Rosenberg, Jack Torse, Big Old Badass Bob the Cattle Rustler, Frank Rizzo, whoever.
Right. Now, I'm a little confused. Do they get a CD from this, or is
yes.
They do?
Yes.
Okay.
If there's time constraints where they need, like they're a little behind, or sometimes they do it last minute, I'll send them forward the MP3, so they have that. And then I take the actual physical CD that I do for them is done in waveform, so it's much higher quality, and that's autographed to the person it was purchased for.
Right. Are you a free time kind of guy? Do you have? I know that you're busy this weekend. There was a wedding, and you were kind of busy with things. We were supposed to meet last week.
Hello.
And there's that same, and I don't know, 770 area code.
Hello.
I have no idea what that is, but we're going to let it ring again. Maybe it's Frank Rizzo. Of all things, we're talking about phone calls.
Imagine isn't that so fitting? We'll pick it up. It'll be Frank.
Frank on the phone. What do you do? Is there a spare time, or what do you do free time? I mean, you're not always in the studio. What are you doing beyond this? I mean, what do you do with your free time? Let's talk about your life away from voices.
Hey, what do you say there, rubber ass? What's going on? It's me, Frank. Frank Rizzo.
Okay, spare time, guy.
Yeah, no, it's you know what? You don't have a lot of spare time. I have two daughters. I'm always running around with them. Like, a lot of times it's softball. Both my girls play ball. My other girl's a varsity cheerleader. My older one, obviously, varsity cheerleader, and she runs track. So it's like I've always got to get them here, get them there. So you don't have a lot of downtime. It's like a lot of driving her, and my wife, obviously we all work together, but when you have kids, it's I'll tell you what, you got a lot of work to do. And a lot of people don't realize, it's going to be easy. Yeah, we'll have some kids. It's the hardest thing. Man, it's now that I have children, it's the hardest thing because you got to be on top of everything. And, you're the guy to doing errands, doing this, doing that. Or else it's working around the house or getting things done. I have a big excavator that I like to play with, and I like to, get some stuff done with that. And,
Excavator?
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk about excavator.
Excavator.
What do you excavate?
It's a bit around my property. I have it's a very rugged terrain where I live. So I do a lot of work with boulders and just digging and moving around and landscaping and whatnot.
Wow. So you're excavating.
Yeah. Well, on my property.
You're moving boulders?
Yeah.
Wow. That's...
Yep. That's what I do in my spare time.
In your spare time when you're not being gay and you're not being a penis and you're busy moving boulders.
Right. Right.
Doesn't it kind of sound kind of strange?
It absolutely does. But it's a hell of a life, I'll tell you. It's a wonderful life.
And your daughter plays softball. She's an athlete.
Yes, she's a very good athlete, and she's a great musician. She's an excellent musician. She's been drumming since she's literally could walk. As a matter of fact, I bought her first drum. It's a little one that goes around your waist and you just walk around with it. So I bought it in the Village in Manhattan, down in where I used to stay in the Village, down around Charlton Street. And I bought her this little drum, and then when she first started walking, she would walk around playing the drum. It was the funniest thing you ever saw. Then when she was 2, my brother bought her a real drum set, but a miniature one, a tiny little drum set. And we just knew then, wow, this kid's amazing. She's got this incredible talent. My wife, when she was in the womb, when she was being, in the womb, my wife used to play every night Mozart and Handel and Beethoven into her stomach every single night, religiously. And when my daughter got her first drum set at the age of 2, my wife and I would be upstairs waking up in the morning, and we would hear her downstairs, and she wouldn't be like most kids would just slam and bash the drums. She would just, all we would hear is the tom-toms going boom, 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 boom. And she was just gently listening to tone. And then my right hand to God, one day we woke up, not too many weeks after that, and we hear a 2-year-old downstairs doing a beat without being taught a beat. She's hitting the cymbals and she's doing timing and she's doing a beat with the foot. And I said, that is amazing. That's incredible. To this day, she, just the other day at the wedding, the drummer let her sit in at the wedding. She hasn't played drums in months. She will not practice. I don't know why I can't get her to practice. And she sat in at the wedding, and she was incredible. She was incredible. She just, songs that she's never even heard before, she just went along with the band and just kicked ass.
But my father, did I cut you off? I'm sorry.
No.
My father was a big band leader.
Wow.
And Henny Youngman was his violinist.
Wow.
John Carroll, the actor, was his lead vocalist, his male vocalist. So my dad was in the big time. Now, I'm not a musician. I can't do it. But my daughter can pick up almost any instrument, sit down and play it. I've watched her. She's very musical. And her hands, because it's in the hands also.
Right.
It's one thing to be musical up the head,
right,
in the head, but it's another to bring it forward.
Right.
And the hands are what brings it forward.
That's right.
So there's no blockage. It's
flow. It's just able to flow.
You've got that flow.
Right.
And when my wife was pregnant with Kimberly, we were living in Laurel Canyon, in California, and driving along, and Light My Fire was just coming out.
Jim Morrison,
The Doors. And today my daughter is a tremendous Jim Morrison fan. She and Light My Fire would play every 20 minutes on the car radio.
Right.
And she was in the womb.
Right.
And I'm convinced that the unborn in the womb will hear. They supposedly, allegedly, theory has it they can hear and remember these things.
They were not. The Flintstones were nominated 50 years ago for an Emmy.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
And Family Guy's the only other cartoon to ever get that.
So you were on the first one.
I don't know if I'm on the very first one, but I know I'm in the first whole.
What was the first one?
I don't have a clue.
Wow.
I've done so many of them.
It's probably in 1998.
I think 98, 99.
Wow. And when did it come off the air? What year?
don't remember, but I think whatever year it went on, it came off. I think that same year. I think it was only on. He's got a talking penis, and he wakes up one morning and doesn't realize there's somebody, and he thinks there's somebody in the room, but it's really his penis. And it's this whole story how he argues and has ups and downs and relationships with his penis. Once he finds out, he almost has a heart attack. But then, it's a funny story. I do the voice Rocco, so I do Rocco, the voice of the penis. That's the role I do through the movie. And the director's a huge fan of mine, Jace Cobalati. So he wanted me in the movie somehow, some way. So for a year or a season.
Wow.
And then it came back like a year later. They put it back on.
Right. Well, what else is new with you? Okay, did we talk MTV years? Let's talk MTV years, and I'm going to let you take the lead here. What would you like to talk about?
Well, actually, I just wrapped up a motion picture project. I did a film called Mind of Its Own, where it's about this college kid. He's a wacky college kid, and he's got issues. I do the voice of the penis.
I got confused.
Yep, I do the voice of the penis through the whole movie, but I make a cameo as his boss who has to fire him.
Do Rocco.
Rocco's based on New York Frank Rizzo. That's it, Johnny. It's just a real tough guy, just like take no crap, Frank Rizzo type voice.
Does he speak with his penis, or is he just hounded and tormented? And
he's tormented and he fights.
Did they actually become friends?
Yes, they become. He said, Johnny, I gotta have you. So I did a cameo as this crazy kid's boss. My name is Mr. Hamby, and I have to fire this kid because he's nuts. Because I don't want him in my building and in my operation because I'm his boss, and I think he's out of his freaking mind. And so I have to let him go. So that's the scene I have, and it's actually a very funny scene. It's the first time I do my gay character on screen.
Who plays the penis?